Shalom, my name is Yehoshua Yaakov, and this video is being made from Jerusalem. Let me turn up the volume. Okay, the volume is up. Okay, again, my name is Yehoshua Yaakov. I'm making this video from Jerusalem, Barack Obama's Nobleville, Indiana, if I'm pronouncing that right. Shalom to Nobleville, Indiana, to Sabelis, the governor, to the county, to the other many towns and cities. Let's give Barack Obama a complete support and an outright victory in Indiana, and thus send him on to North Carolina to win, and to the coronation in Denver, etc. He's a winner. But now let's get to the message. Let's view this, let's all get on the same page, and let's see this message as a trailer to what he's saying. America and Americans. The win-win situation is addressing the central issue, which is the economy, and that means jobs. And the jobs that have been lost in Indiana, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in the Rust Belt, in the industrial heartland, in Illinois, and elsewhere around the United States, they're not coming back. By and large, they're gone, and they're going to remain gone. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you. Who is Yehoshua Yaakov? I'm formerly Michael O'Donnell. I've lived in Jerusalem for 22 years. When I saw the corruption and the implosion and the disaster that the absentee leadership in Washington was making for America and the American people, I left 22 years ago and washed my hands of it. And now I'm doing everything that is possible, humanly possible, to help Barack Obama get elected president. He's a light of hope for American Americans, but let's get on the same page. First, what does that mean? It means that there are events that have already happened around the world, and coming out from Jerusalem is the articulation and the international content that defines the end of man and mankind's exile. It's irreversibly, it's specifically the collapse of the local reality that's been observed around the world. Its meaning, there are a few hundred videos already been made. I've already made a few hundred. I'll make a few thousand more. But let me put things in perspective. The iconic perception of Barack Obama as a leader, my life's work will thrust me into a similar role that will sort of eclipse that phenomenon in the context of a world leader. I'm an old man, and I'm not interested in iconic roles, but that's the nature of man and mankind and the internet and everything else. Let me get to Talkless. When the local reality collapsed 18 years ago, when I first observed it, I followed it. It began in December 25th, 1991, with the collapse in the former Soviet Union of its local reality, which was its communism. Next, in Yugoslavia, the next year, 1992, communism collapsed. A few years later, 1995, with the murder of Rabin, the local reality in Israel collapsed with Zionism, and subsequently 9/11. The meta-narrative is necessary to understand the collapse that came to America. In 2003, the completion of the invasion of Iraq, the collapse of the Ba'athist regime in Lebanon with the murder of Harari, the collapse there, and in 7 or 8 other countries, and it's going around the world, and it's irreversible. What is the local reality giving to receive? The old anthropologic, sociologic, psychological model of man and mankind's mind was giving to receive. It means I give, I get. That was the central organizing principle of man and mankind's exile. It's finished, it's collapsed, it's no more, it'll never be back. And what replaces it is the new what replaces it is the new central organizing principle. Cognitive behavioral science, which is the central organizing principle of Humanomics, is receiving to give. And receiving what? Receiving the authentic you, to give the authentic you to the authentic you, to your children, to your spouse, to your children, your family and community. Kabel b'shvilatet in Hebrew, in English, receive it to give. That's the central organizing principle of Humanomics. And what is Humanomics? Humanomics is the post-collapse of the local reality, globality's new East-West convergence model. I'm its author. The trilogy written to describe it is about 2,500 pages, and its 5th draft will be published on the internet with a few hundred graphics. The most important thing to understand is that the collapse occurs on 4 levels. The psychosocial, the behavioral, the cognitive, the psycholinguistic level, and this means in relation to individuals, families, communities, and nations. Okay, having said that, what replaces it is Humanomics in general, and its central organizing principle, receiving to give. That's getting everybody on the same page. That change is universal. It's around the globe. Barak and Michelle and the other candidate, they don't know about this yet, but Barak is the probable leader of America in the free world, and I have every confidence he will make this ascent. He will receive the coronation, he will receive the endorsement, he will run, he will be elected, and that he can make this ascent, he and Michelle and the girls and his family and his community and his nation. He's a leader. Okay, that's getting everybody on the same page. That's what has to be done. Now the particulars. Here is where the jobs that are lost in Indiana, folks, kiss them goodbye. In Ohio, in Pennsylvania, and everywhere, and all the industrial Rust Belt, it's finished. And they're not coming back. Now here is where we're going, folks, and why. Not only has the local reality collapsed that's ended man and mankind's exile, but also the industrial model of mass production, which was the division of labor that made the industrial revolution in the Rust Belt, that's finished. The new economic paradigm replaces it. I am the author, and it's called the integration of labor. That particular paradigm, President Obama will seek and receive a mandate from the United States Congress to build a world-class global technological infrastructure, not a physical infrastructure. And technological infrastructure will create tens of millions of sustainable domestic content jobs, beginning with tens of thousands a month, at double the pay by years 2 and 3, and triple the pay by years 7 through 10. With $1, this project will require $5 trillion of investment amortized over 20 years. 60% of that investment will come from the G9 as strategic partners. And it will take us from 14 trillion to 45 to 50 trillion. And the net result will be a just distribution. There isn't going to be an 80-20 split or a 70-30 split or a 60-40 split. There's going to be a just split. Why? Because the underlying world-class international content, science and technology, to produce this new world-class economic technological infrastructure model based upon the integration of labor, I own that intellectual property. And instead of going to Wall Street and Fleet Street and raising hundreds of millions of dollars and creating hundreds of $billions of market cap wealth, the world doesn't need another. I'm too old for that anyway, and I have no interest in it. Never did. The world doesn't need another Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Monzi Schlim or whatever his name is. The world needs a leader, and that's the God of the cosmos has provided us Barack Obama. And never mind H for Hussein, it means Hashem. That's the God's name in Israel. Barak Hashem Obama. Okay, bless him and Michelle and the girls. Endorse him, back him. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. Let's all get on the same page and understand what we're doing. We're going to develop, implement an acculturate. It's going to make acculturate with the new economic paradigm. It's going to make America the most competitive economy in the world. It's going to take us from 14 trillion to 45, 50. It's going to eliminate the national debt. It's going to eliminate the Social Security deficit. It's going to eliminate the trade deficit. It's going to provide the surpluses to pay for full health care insurance from cradle to grave. It's going to pay for education for everybody to get a college education free in America. It's a win-win situation, folks. We're going to retool, retrain, and educate the entire American, the entire workforce in America, making it the most competitive of the century. This is the trailer. This is the message. This is the delivery. This is the beef. This isn't a bucket. This isn't Bob the Builder. This is the real thing. This you're not going to hear from John McCain's campaign. I'm Yehoshua Yaakov. I'm the author of Humanomics in general and its central organizing principle, received to give, and its new economic paradigm. That's what the new economy will be built upon. It's a win-win situation. I endorse this message. Back Senator Obama for president. We bless you in Indiana and in the United States, all of you. In Kabel B'Shvilatet is the Hebrew, and the English, don't forget I'm an American citizen, receiving to give. And you already know what that means. Thank you. I love you all. Shalom from Jerusalem. Thank you for listening.